just explain it as I go throughout the triggers. Essentially, what whispering does to my voice is the same thing that does to your lips after you breathe through your mouth several times, several nights in a row. And so, when you whisper, air gets past your vocal cords, and they kind of get scarred when air passes through them so much, because it kind of breaks down, because it kind of gets them dry and chapped and cracked. I remember how that was difficult to handle when I was sick for a bit. My nose only allowed me to breathe through my mouth. My nose only allowed me to breathe through my mouth when I was sleeping. Another thing, if any of you are wondering, this sickness actually happened way back in the first semester of high school, or first semester of this past high school year. Of course, you all know I graduated a little bit early. Well, in general, it had nothing to do with being early. What was I saying? Oh yeah, basically, I did not get sick during this whole thing that's been going on. I actually got sick long before it happened, so that's a good thing. There's another thing I was trying to mention. Oh yeah, whispering basically does that to your cords as it does to your lips when you're forced to breathe through your mouth several times a night when sick. And so, if I'm going to be using too complicated for me to explain, if I'm going to be singing in general, I don't want to have that happening to me, because I intend to practice right after I get done with this video. Yeah, the only reason why I sound decent during any time of the day is just because of practice, first of all, and second, making it fun by singing along with other people, because I know a lot of things just by muscle memory. I know what it would feel like to do certain things. An example, way before I started practicing singing for real, I would use a lot of head voice. Excuse me. My ear just kind of... If you know what I mean, tell me below, if you don't mind. I used to sing a lot of head voice, which is, I'll give you a quiet demonstration of what it would sound like if you were to speak in it. It sounds a little bit like this, quite airy, quite light, and quite comical. Not if you were to use it, but one way that I find a lot of people recognizing it is by mentioning opera, because a lot of female roles involve more head voice than anything else. So if they were to connect head voice to something they are familiar with, I would basically just say opera to make the connection. And after using head voice for quite a while, it kind of became a good bit of muscle memory. I did not find anything, it did not hurt at all. Basically, I thought it was the only thing you should be using in singing because of someone's influence on me. And it is all based on her experience. I kind of looked up to her as if she were a voice teacher, but it was literally just 4 years of experience in chorus class for high school that told her, or that gave her these conclusions. Now, after realizing that she was wrong about chest voice, I started to use that more often than head voice. I started to practice for real. Then again, the time I started to practice was about the time I got over the flu, or it was about the time I was trying to get over the flu. I basically got it at a terrible time. I went through getting the flu literally 2 days before school was out in my junior year. And that forced me to retake the semester, end of semester exams. I had to miss 4 exams and retake them next semester. Like, body, couldn't you have chosen a different time? Give me a second. I realized, I realized that the things I would sing along to would never work would literally never work if I used falsetto to hit them. Falsetto is, I'll just say head voice instead. I realized that sooner or later, especially for a certain performance, I had to get something ready. It wasn't good, but I still felt more progressed and farther along than most people out there. Basically, I realized that I would have to learn how to belt. I knew that it was a way of saying hit higher notes with the power that you hear, with the same power as the common artists in the world. Just to give you an iconic example, Idina Menzel's high F5 or E flat 5. The F5 comes from the highest note in Defying Gravity, and the E flat 5 comes from the highest, longest note in her Frozen song, Let It Go. Basically, strategy, essentially. I just started realizing that this is something that a lot of singers use to their advantage for higher notes, if not high notes. And I knew I had to look something up, knew I had to find something. I knew the basics. I got to know the basics before anything else, or at least I had a good feel for the basics. Sad thing is, I only learned the basic technique of proper breath support just so I could get vibrato. And yet, I didn't realize until maybe like August or July or around there, that kind of time last year, that vibrato was not the be-all and end-all of good singing. It was in my own mind, but I should have realized that I'm not a bad singer if I can't do it that much. What else did I bring? Basically, trying to think. Oh yeah. Basically, I knew that I had to get my belt ready, and then, I knew how to access it, but I didn't start growing into it until about this time last year. I wouldn't say May to July, but more like June to August. That's the time my mix really started to come through for me. Oh, and by the way, when I say mix, I mean mixed voice, which is what you use for belting. At least most people use that for belting. Now, if you're talking about full belt, that's actually just with your chest voice, which is something handy if you're going for higher notes, but it's not really good for you if you use it all the time, which is why a lot of people struggle with high notes. You always feel like trying to demonstrate quietly. Basically, they would kick their chest voice into places it's not supposed to go, and that would essentially bring their chest voice to the point where if they held on too tight, or if they didn't hold on enough, it would just split. The vocal cords would just split away into head voice. Overall, though, I essentially realized that I had a lot of stuff up my sleeve, but not a lot of stuff trained up my sleeve, if that makes sense. Like, decent control over my vibrato back around this time last year, but then it started to decline, and now I think at this point it's at more control, and then it started to decline, and then once it increased, I think it increased farther and higher up than this time last year. Like, I feel like I have more control over it than I did before. Bringing this back because I haven't used it in a long time, and it's also a very old recycling dish. And what I mean by untrained stuff up my sleeve is the fact that I can sing a lot of stuff up there, but like, I can sing a lot of higher notes that some people only can dream of, but there's still farther. Like, my chest and mixed voice are the most athletic and most trained parts of my voice. My head voice and my whistle register, those are two things that really need to catch up with it. I'll say this though, where my chest and mixed voice are at right now, I think they're in a great place. Head voice is likely where my chest voice used to be around this time last year, and mixed is just my head voice. As it was last year. So, yeah, whatever. Basically, everything's moving along. I just wish I just wish I could remember to move it along faster, because I'm able to do that. I not only forget, but I feel lazy about it. Well, I hope that this rant wasn't too boring for you. If you didn't like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you are new here, because I make ASMR videos. Hey guys, I'm going to be soft speaking instead of whispering because I don't want to a lot. Don't forget to click the notification bell at the same time so you can receive all notifications. Subscribing alone will not do that. Check the playlist at the end of this video for related videos to this, where it's like a list of triggers, and yeah, just a series and list of triggers. Comment down below if you found my little rant interesting at all, or if you did not find it interesting. Just let me know. I will respectfully accept both. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. If you are asleep, I won't say a thing, but good night. I hope you have some awesome dreams, and I can't wait to see you in my next